أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I'm really excited to have Mohammedkazim Kanji here as our next guest on our show, and he will be going through his journey with the Holy Quran. And it's really intriguing journey because he has gone through a journey that's quite unique. I don't think anyone else has gone through this journey. So it'll be nice to go through the story behind the scenes of his journey and really see what has got him so passionate about the Quran. So, Mohammedkazim, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Thank you so much for agreeing to share your story.
No problem at all.
So obviously not everyone has that same interest, for example, or that same drive to be to not just learn the Quran, but go to the intricacies of the tunes and the maqamat and the tajweed rules and all of that. What advice would you have for them? Because you have gone through this journey. Obviously, it's not an easy ride. You have your highs and your lows. But what advice would you have for those who want to do it but don't know where to start or how to carry on with things?
Okay, that's a very good question, and it's a very packed question as well. But I think finding the right person to connect with is definitely one of those things. It could be a
In
friend,
terms of reciter or a teacher?
both. So
Okay.
having something to connect to, whether it's a reciter that you listen to a lot and you take inspiration from that, whether it's a teacher who you know can explain things really well. I found that I focus a lot on explanation when I teach, and that helps it sink in a lot more. It makes it a
Yeah.
lot easier for people. It could be just friends. So, a lot of my friends have pushed me further to explore my relationship with Quran and Quran recitation.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is, it's about finding some way of connecting. And I think appreciating the art of the Quran and the beauty that it brings is one of the best and easiest ways to do that. Tafsir is great, but it's also heavy, and it can be a lot to take in, to sit and read. But listening to the Quran is something that's very easy. It's very emotional. It touches your heart without you having to do too much thinking.
And it's enjoyable as well.
Exactly. So it's finding that connection, whatever way helps. It can be from anywhere.
That's really good. So you went through this journey of embracing yourself and literally deep diving into Quran, and you have the whole environment. You've gone through that, mastering makharij, tajweed rules, voice and tune as well. I know you spent a lot of time, and you continue to do so in terms of improving your maqamat. And then you've gone a step further, and you've actually gone to create your own syllabus. It's like, okay, I learned everything, but I think there's a better way of teaching Quran, and you've created your own syllabus. Do you mind sharing with us your syllabus that you've created?
Yeah, I mean, so I started teaching at 16.
Okay.
Yeah, so by that point I'd done, the tajweed books that they'd taken through us.
So you literally left madrasa and started teaching.
Yeah, pretty much. So by then I'd done like the tajweed rules, all of the core stuff was finished.
Yeah.
So I went into teaching, and I started off in madrasa, and then just the way mom was teaching private students, I started taking on private students.
Yeah.
And there was a gap that I felt, that sometimes you have to go to a teacher for a very long time, and it feels like you're doing the same thing each week. And in some ways that's what you need. You need lots of practice to become a good reciter. But I also realized that for some people, especially those people, for adults, for example, who are busy, they can't necessarily take out loads of time to recite and practice every day, go to loads of classes. And even for students, sometimes if they don't see their own progression, then they can get bored as well. So younger children as well. And I wanted to create something that would suit people, so that there was a clear path of progression for them, that there was something set out, that they're learning something new each week, so it stays interesting. and something where I can tell them, you know what, you come to me for a few sessions. We go through these things, but I want to build up teaching you not just, they say listening and practicing is what's important for becoming a good reciter. I can't emphasize that enough. But on top of that, I also thought that no, we should start teaching people how to develop fluency. What is fluency and how do
Yeah.
you develop it? So I really thought about that, and I basically created a course that I don't think there's anything like it anywhere else at the moment.
Okay.
It's taken the science of learning and the science of fluency and used that to build that course. And the idea is that within 12 sessions, you become a reciter who's comfortable enough to open the Quran. If you're being asked to recite at a family majlis, you can look over it, but you feel like, you know what, I'm confident with this. I'm not going to get stuck anywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be able to pronounce things fairly accurately. Now, pronunciation is nothing you can say that guaranteed you'll be able to recite all the letters perfectly. But the idea was that in 3 months or 12 sessions, if we're doing once a week, then 3 months, you get to that stage where you are fluent. And then it's not advanced tajweed and that kind of thing, but at least for someone who wants to just be able to recite, they feel comfortable and
Yeah,
confident.
that's really, really amazing, because in my mind, and especially I've spoken to a few people as well, Quran is like a long journey, and okay, I'll start and then where will I reach? It's constant back and forth. I'll stop and then I'll have to start again from scratch. But you're saying just 12 sessions, and one can become fluent in reciting the Quran and be comfortable enough. That's
Yeah.
amazing. That
So-
that gives hope. That gives me
Yeah.
hope. We've heard your recitation a lot of times, and we'd love to hear recitation again. But this time we're doing a bit of a twist.
not the
we're-
first time, though.
Sorry,
Not the first time we're doing
not the
twist.
first time. Yes, we've done this before, and I thought we'd roll back the years. It was what, 4 or 5 years ago we did it?
At least, yeah.
Yeah, at least. So we're going to recite together. We're going to do a duet. And where are we reciting from, Mohammedkazim?
So it will be from Surah Al-Kahf, which is Surah number 18, and we're going to start from verse 7.
Okay, so we're going to start from verse 7, Surah Al-Kahf. So if you can all open your Qur'ans, or it's on the screen as well. So Mohammedkazim, Bismillah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا جعلنا ما على الأرض زينة لها لنبلوهم أيهم أحسن عملا.
وإنا لجاعلون ما عليها صعيدا جرزا.
أم حسبت أن أصحاب الكهف والرقيم كانوا من آياتنا عجبا.
إذ أوى الفتية إلى الكهف فقالوا ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا.
فضربنا على آذانهم في الكهف سنين عددا.
ثم بعثناهم لنعلم أي الحزبين أحصى لما لبثوا أمدا.
نحن نقص عليك نبأهم بالحق إنهم فتية آمنوا بربهم وزدناهم هدى.
وربطنا على قلوبهم إذ قاموا فقالوا ربنا رب السماوات والأرض لن ندعو من دونه إلها لقد قلنا إذا شططا.
هؤلاء قومنا اتخذوا من دونه آلهة لولا يأتون عليهم بسلطان بين فمن أظلم ممن افترى على الله كذبا صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Ahsant. That was really, really beautiful and really enjoyable.
Thank you. Yeah, it was nice to go back to reciting with you.
Yeah, it was nice. And I think one of the challenges of reciting together is the transitioning, right?
Yeah,
And I think I threw a few curveballs there for you, but
you did.
you handled them well. No, thank you so much. That was really, really enjoyable. Ikhfa. Can you just introduce the ikhfa tajweed rule and just give a few examples from the passage that we've just recited?
Yeah, so we'll stick to ikhfa of noon today.
Yes, yeah.
And maybe if there's time, we can go to ikhfa of meme as well. But for now, ikhfa of noon, which is when you have a noon sukoon or a tanween, because there is a noon sukoon inside a tanween, followed by one of, I think it's 15 different letters.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to just rattle them off. So sometimes what's easier is to know the other rules first, which are the idgham of noon sukoon, idhar of noon sukoon, and iqlab of noon sukoon, because those are easy. So you remember the little acronyms, which are yarmalun for idgham of noon, and then you have the throat letters. So some people know that al hamzatu wal how, but I usually just say the throat letters, and then however you want to remember them, those 6. And then you have iqlab of noon, which is the letter ba followed after. So if it's none of those groups, then it's ikhfa. So that's how I remember it, because remembering 15 letters is just a lot.
Yeah.
So let's find an example. Are there any that you can see? Yes, okay, so verse 8 at the end. ما عليها صعيدا جرزا. So I think part of it is just the exercise of being confident to remember the other groups, so that when you come to this, you're not second guessing yourself. Sa'idan, like you don't know what to do, then it becomes difficult. So one is just remembering those other groups, and then seeing quickly that this doesn't fall into one of those categories, and so it's ikhfa. And what needs to happen is you are putting your tongue and in the position of jim, almost, because obviously if you put it in position of jim and you say something, it's going to come out as j. But we're looking at the stretched sa'idan juruza. So it's almost in the position of jim, almost like you can feel the vibration when you do the stretch. And then you're just holding the noon sukoon sound, but because it's not a full noon, it won't sound like a full noon. It'll be a bit hidden, which is what ikhfa means, right? Ikhfa means to hide. And that's how you make the sound. And as you do, because noon is naturally nasal, it will come out of both your nose and your mouth. Because it's not a full noon, it'll come out of your mouth as well. But it will also come out of your nose, because it has noon inside it. So sa'idan juruza.
So as a point of note, just stress on it, 2 counts. Yeah, roughly.
A bit. It's 2 counts is like an easy way of explaining it, but if you actually listen to me recite that bit again, so I'll recite the verse. وَإِنَّا لَجَاعِلُونَ مَا عَلَيْهَا صَعِيدًا جُرُزًا. You can hear عِيدًا. It's actually longer than 2 counts. And it's difficult to put an exact number on it, but it is definitely longer. But it's hard to say exactly how much.
So as a point of reference, 2 counts or a bit more, whatever feels natural, but definitely stress on it. Ahsan. Thank you so much for your time, Mohammedkazim, for sharing us with your story and your journey and the amazing work that you're doing with your new endeavor, and sharing with us your recitation. It was really nice reciting with you.
Yes, it was a lovely treat.
If there's anything that, if you have any further questions from what we've gone through, then please do let us know, and we'll be more than happy to address those questions. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.